It's always exciting to see a beloved franchise take a step up to a newer console, but this is actually the first time that Naughty Dog has done this. They've always had a major franchise stay on one console, so this is something new for them. First, I need to address that Amy Hennig has left the company at this point, so Neil Druckmann was the head story writer for the game, the same writer who worked on The Last of Us. On the one hand, I was excited since I knew that he could develop the characters on a more relatable note, but then, I was also concerned that it would end up feeling similar to The Last of Us. It certainly didn't help when I saw the title screen. In past games, you would see the vibrant scenery with the kick-ass theme song playing, but this game greets us with no music or title, just a skeleton in a cage. What a terrible first impression to what is otherwise a near-flawless game. The story begins in medias res again. Yeah, I know, this is like the third time in the series. So Nathan Drake has retired from treasure hunting and now works for a salvation company. He and Delana are happily married while Nate still misses the excitement of his old life. He is then pulled back into it when his long-thought-to-be-dead brother named Sam, played by Troy Baker, returns, and after a very touching reunion, he asks for Nate's help. At this point, I was a little concerned about how they would introduce him since there was no indication that Nate had a brother in previous games. Admittingly, it does cause a bit of discrepancy in the storyline, but from the way his backstory is shown and the way that their relationship is developed, it was actually very believable. So prior to the events of Drake's fortune, Nate, Sam, and their financier Rafe Adler, played by Warren Cole, are investigating a Panamanian prison to pick up a lead on the legendary pirate treasure left behind by Captain Henry Avery after his famous 1695 Gunsway heist. Why they needed to be imprisoned in order to investigate this? I don't know. After they kill one of the wardens in a fight, they are forced to make a quick escape. Nate and Rafe manage to escape while Sam was shot and left behind. Back in the present, Sam informs Nate that he is in a lot of debt to a powerful crime lord who helped him escape, and convinces Nate to resume their search for Avery's treasure, which Nate hesitantly does. He lies to Elena, telling her that he's accepted a big job offer, which of course doesn't work out, and so Nate and Sam team back up with Sully, which leads them on a massive adventure, overcoming elaborate puzzles, visiting a few beautiful locations, and ultimately discovering the fabled city of Libertalia, all the while being chased by Rafe and a team of hired mercenaries known as Shoreline, led by a tough South African woman named Nadine Ross, played by Laura Bailey. The story is easily one of the strongest points in the game because we get to see new sides of the characters that we've known for so long. We learn about Nate's time in the Catholic school, we are shown why he adopted the surname Drake, and not only do we see the relationship that he had with his brother, but also the partnership he once had with the villain, which is more history than what we got with Dante, Flynn, or Eddie. The one thing that I strongly admire about Neil Druckmann's writing is that he has taken some of these new characters that we don't know much about and made them extremely likable and relatable. I love listening to Nate talk to Sam. I like the way they bicker and catch up in lost time. The gameplay is familiar, but there are a ton of added features such as a grappling hook that you will often use to climb onto ledges. There are a few driving sections, and the stealth has been enhanced by adding small markers that indicate if enemies have seen you or are suspicious. The movements and particle effects are very fluent and amazing, but the best visuals are displayed in the environments. My god, look at these environments! The lighting is perfect, the attention to detail is realistic, and the atmosphere is unbelievably inviting. I can imagine playing this game years later and still getting wrapped up in these environments. The collectible treasures are back, along with some new things such as notes, drawings, and optional conversations, much like The Last of Us. Right, speaking of Naughty Dog, there's even a few moments in the game where you have to play Crash Bandicoot. I can only imagine how many TV screens got coated in jizz that day. It's fun, and I like how it's presented in a way to develop the relationship between Nate and Elena. Also, for the first time in the series, I actually got involved in the multiplayer, which is addicting and fun, with classic game modes as well as some new ones. The gameplay and teamwork building is more robust, and I like all the customizations for the playable characters. There is, however, an imbalance, with only 8 hero characters and 12 villains, but at least they brought back all of the original voice actors. Well, except for Harry Flynn. I don't know who they got to replace Steve Valentine, but he sounds really weird. With all of that said, Uncharted 4 is definitely worthy of all the praise it has received. It has become one of the best-selling PS4 exclusives, and is absolutely a must-own.
Oh, scusi.
You're not supposed to be back here.
Well, neither are you. But I'll tell you what, I won't tell anyone if you don't.
You have something I want, and you're going to give it to me.
Really? Well, I'm flattered, but I'm afraid I'm spoken for. Oh, if you'll excuse me.
I'm not in the mood for games. Give me the crucifix.
Lady, you're lucky I'm a gentleman. Because if I weren't...
You'd what?
All right, fine. Just remember, I didn't want to do this.
Let's see what you've got.